FPL Donatellos. We're already back with a brand new season of FPL. The game officially launched. And yeah, I don't know what I'm more pumped for. This or Doja Cat's new album dropping yesterday. I'll let you guys decide that one. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to the winners of last year's FPL Donatello's Mini League. I'll throw that up right here. Skadoosh. Anyway, I was in the middle of studying for my 4 finals next week, and I needed a break. And so I decided to launch my first official, way too early, going to change a lot, don't even know why I did it, FPL draft. So here we are. And so before I jump into my squad and show you guys what my first draft looks like, I have a couple rules that I have right now. One, I'm studying for the 4 finals next week, so obviously I didn't have too much time to put into this, and so there's a lot of floating pieces around here. And 2, I'm trying to stay off Twitter as much as possible to make sure that this team is my own and I'm not influenced by outside sources. But with that said, let's get it started and ha! Alright, so starting off in goal, Sanchez. I don't think this one's going to blow anyone away. To me, it's just an easy pick. At 4.5 mil, playing for Brighton, that's a pretty good defensive team. Last season, they were about 3rd best in expected goals against per 90. Sanchez had a good save rate when he came in. And he has a good schedule for about the first 8 games or so. And honestly, look at all the other 4.5 mil keepers, and to me, he's just the best one. And I don't like spending money on keepers. In the words of Tyler, the Creator, 50K for the last check, but dollar menu still on deck. So, again, for me, I just like to go cheap there. Now, I don't think he's going to be like Martinez was last season or Nick Pope was the year before. This is my 3rd season at FPL. But Sanchez at 4.5 mil, I think, is going to be a great pick. All right, so for defenders, I want to give a quick shout out to Cody, who is first on my bench. 4.5 mil for a Wolverhampton playing defender. I think that's a good pick. Now, I don't expect him to get too involved in goal, but again, 4.5 for my first sub. I like it like that. Shout out Cardi B. Okay. All right, so I got Sufal. This dude balled out last season. I think he was in a good amount of team of the seasons last year for that I saw on Twitter. And you look at his schedule, unlike last season, it's very favorable to start. They got Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and 3 of their first 4. And as we know, the first few game weeks, you want, well, in my opinion, this is what I'm going for this year. You want stability because there's a lot of moving pieces at the beginning. And so I'm hoping that with Sufal, with those 4 easy matches, I can rely on him staying in my defense. All right, then I got Reece James. Look, 5.5 mil might be a bit hefty for him, but I think he's nailed on. I was talking to my buddy who's a huge Chelsea supporter, and it's just, Azpilicueta's getting old. Hakimi didn't come in like the Chelsea fans wanted, and so Reece James looked like he's going to be pretty nailed on if I had to guess. And I don't think it's outlandish in me saying that this Champions League winner can flat out ball. He's still so young, and he has just a gorgeous cross to him, and he can get involved as far as goal scoring as well. The only problem with him as far as crossing goes is who's going to finish him. But honestly, I'm not worried about that because Chelsea's defense is really good. Really good. Shout out Nacho Libre. And at 5.5 mil, I think that's a great price to get into this Chelsea defense. Again, I think he's about as nailed as can be. If there are any Chelsea supporters out there, please comment on this and let me know. His first few matches, he got Crystal Palace at home. Should be nice. Aston Villa, Liverpool, Arsenal. I know that Arsenal and Liverpool does sound tough. But again, they did really well against top 6 teams last season. They kept a lot of, I think, most teams they got clean sheets against. So Reece James, to me, I think could have a breakout season this year at 21. And even more of a breakout season. Now these should be more nailed on. Love Reece James. Now this might be the part of the video that a lot of people say, hey, FPL Don, you got to change this pick. But right now I have him in my defense. It's going to be Konate. Hopefully I say his name right. If I didn't, please let me know. Now this dude is just coming into Liverpool. And he is big. He's like, 6'3.5". He is a huge defender. Apparently he's really good. And the biggest thing is I just want to get into that Liverpool defense. They have really good fixtures for their first, almost like 6 of their first 8 are green. Shout out Money Trees, Kendrick Lamar. And so I really want to get in his Liverpool defense. At 5.5, he might be the option. But again, I'll have to wait and see if he really does earn some playing time or if it's going to be Joe Gomez and Van Dijk. And if Van Dijk is back, I think this Liverpool defense is going to be stout as it used to be. Now, of course, there's concerns about Van Dijk coming back from injury. After tearing an ACL, it's not the easiest thing to come back from. But Van Dijk is a very smart player. He's very strong. Very, very smart again. So I think this Liverpool defense is going to be just fine when he gets back. And so the big thing is Konate going to play? Is it going to be Joe Gomez? I don't know. But at the moment, I do have him in my squad. I don't think he'll get too many goal involvements, even though he is 6'3". He's never scored more than 1 goal a season. But let's see. All right, enough of the defenders. Let's go ahead and talk about the money, the middies. So first off, I got Jack Grealish. Jackie G, I'm playing in a 3-5-2. And Grealish is a beast. I mean, again, it's not being outlandish saying that. I still think at 8 mil, if he's playing for Aston Villa, is going to be I don't want to say a steal, but it's still a really good price. My concern with him is obviously, is he going to City? If he's going to City and gets consistent playing time, 8 mil is outrageous for the quality of player he is. We all know Pep Roulette is a huge factor in FPL. And so if he does go to City, I will not have Jack Grealish. I'll probably change the funds around and try to bring in Trent Alexander-Arnold for Konate. But as of right now, I got Jackie G in. His first 3 games are against Watford, Newcastle, and Brentford. So very favorable. He could go off and have himself a great start of the season. And so right now he's in my squad. But again, I'll have to wait to see what transfers say. All right, so last season, Jackie G had the second most shot creation actions per 90, only behind KDB. 4th place, Mason Mount. Again, I don't think I'm being crazy here saying that Mason Mount is a really good player. And his price tag right now, I think, is 7.5. It might be a little bit much, but I just love the way this guy plays. And he's still so young. He has a lot to develop. And this could be a season just like Reece James where he really takes his game to the next level. Not saying he wasn't at a good level before, but at another great level. And Mason Mount, I watched a lot of film these last couple weeks in between classes. Don't tell my professors. If you're watching this, I apologize. And Mason Mount had a ton of opportunities that his forwards just couldn't finish. I think he had the biggest differential. Don't quote me on this, but look it up. But I heard that he had the biggest differential in expected assists versus actual assists last season. He creates a ton. Of course, the question again is who's going to be finishing these chances. I don't want to worry about that right now. But I do look at his schedule and honestly, look at the first 11 games. He has Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, like I talked about with Reece James. And then he has Tottenham City. But then the next 5, 6 after that, very favorable. So he has a great run of fixtures over the first 11 with a couple speed bumps on the way. And Mason Mount is a flat-out baller. And I'm hoping that he's going to be as nailed as I think he is. Again, I was talking to a couple Chelsea, my homies who are Chelsea supporters. And not only do they love Mount, they think he's going to be absolutely nailed on. As do I. And so I think this could be a big season for him. He might be one of those players that the first couple weeks he has, a few assists, gets a good double-digit return, and he's in everybody's squad. All right, then the obvious, Mo Salah. I've been playing this FPL game for about 3 seasons now, and he's been in my team every year. The question for me isn't whether I'm going to have him or not, is am I going to captain him? Last year I didn't captain him, and he ended up with a 20-point, 20-piece nugget. What am I going to say this season? 20-piece. He dropped a 20-piece, and it hurt, even though I had him. So am I going to captain him versus Norwich away, or am I going to captain my other player who's obvious, and Bruno Fernandes? So honestly, I don't want to spend too much time on King Bruno versus King Salah, because again, I just think they're so obvious. Maybe not obvious picks, but they're going to be in a lot of people's drafts, and they're in there for obvious reasons, because they both return a ton. You look at Mo Salah's last few seasons, I think if there's an FPL Hall of Fame, he's in it. If there's the greatest of all time, I don't know. I've only been playing it for 3 seasons, but he's got to be mentioned. He had 300 points, 260, 230, 230. Impressive. So Bruno Fernandes, again, at 12 mil. I think he's undervalued again. He had 244 last season. I think he was the highest scoring player last year. If he brings in Jadon Sancho, which, again, has just been a 2-year will they, won't they. It's worse than me and my ex. She hasn't called me back today, by the way. If they bring him in, there's going to be so much talent around Bruno. He's going to get a ton of assists. He's on penalties. And United, whether you like it or not, they're going to get a lot of penalties. So Bruno, Salah, easy picks for me. Great captains. They'll be going back and forth. And I think Bruno has a really favorable schedule for the first 6. Yeah. And then to round out my midfield, this Ninja Turtle Donatello has to go for another one. Raphael, a.k.a. Rafinha. Now, this dude is a baller. When I heard he was 6.5, it was a no-brainer. He was locked into my squad. The only problem I have right now with him is that he plays United game week 1, so I probably expect a blank in that game. But Leeds can score against anybody, and they play hard. Whether they're losing 6-2 in the 90th minute or it's a 1-1 game in the 90th minute, they're playing all out. They are all gas, no break. Shout out E40. Gas, break, dip. Anyway, his fixtures are really good, honestly, up until game week 11. Maybe even a little bit long. No, about game week 11. Other than United here and a Liverpool match in game week 4. But Rafinha is a baller. If you go back to that footage of him where he does that little spinning nutmeg, I don't know what to call it other than that FIFA left-right move. But this dude's incredible. 6.5 mil for someone that talented on a team that plays with a lot of passion. It's a lock for me. Now, he is my only Leeds player, which I am honestly a little upset about because I was expecting maybe like Rodrigo. Bamford's too expensive for me. Spoiler alert for my forwards. I do expect Rodrigo to maybe have a really good season for Leeds, but it's too much of a gamble for me to take at this point in the FPL hasn't even started. I don't want to take too many gambles to start the season off this year. And here's one of the few stats I'll have in this video because I just looked it up really quickly. Rafinha had just about the same amount of non-penalty expected goal per 90 as Bruno, and more than Jack Grealish and Son and Gundogan. So this dude produces, he had about, 0.54? And going back to that Rodrigo who I was talking about, who could have a really good season this year, Rodrigo was 10th in the Prem last year in non-penalty expected goals at 0.6. Rafinha fell at 16, so great value as soon as they hit that, probably game week 3 when they play Burnley. I have a keen eye on Rodrigo moving forward. All right, now for my forwards. I got DCL coming in first. Now, I feel like he's going to be probably the most owned forward to start the season. And it's probably just because his schedule looks so good up until game week 7 when he plays United. He's got Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Burnley, Norwich. So it's hard for me to ignore someone of a capability who can score up to 18, 20 goals this season. You never know. It's hard for me to ignore that. So DCL with that good of fixtures, I could see him having a great start to the season, so I can't ignore him at 8 mil. And the other one's Antonio. I don't think it's really outlandish to say how good he can be. I know the joke has always been when he's healthy, when he's healthy. Well, at this moment he's healthy, and just like I talked about with Sioux Fall, Newcastle game week 1, Crystal Palace game week 3, it's hard to ignore Antonio at 7.5. So yeah, it's really hard for me to ignore Antonio at that price. I think they're probably the best value. If I look at all the other forwards, Harry Kane's just too expensive for me right now. Again, we'll have to see if he actually ends up going to City. But for now, I just don't want... he's just too expensive for me. If I had to choose, like you can see, between King Bruno, Salah, and Harry Kane, I'm going with the Salah and Bruno route. But again, there's so much time for me to decide this. Jamie Vardy's too expensive. I mean, even if we go down to like the 8 mil, Cavani, if Cavani's nailed on, then Cavani's a great option. Bamford's too expensive. Danny Ings, I think, if I look at Danny Ings' schedule, I think it's just too much at the beginning. Everton, United, West Ham, City in his first 5 matches. So Ings is just too risky for me. Ian Nacho, I want to see if he's nailed on now that Barnes is going to be healthy. And so actually, you know what? Stop the tick. Jimenez. Now, if Jimenez is healthy, he's on my list come game week 4. Jimenez has Watford, Brentford, Southampton, Newcastle, Villa, and Leeds come game week 4 to game week 9. And so if he's able to play, and I hope he is because I love Jimenez. So if he is able to play, he's probably in my team. So there you have it. There's my squad. What y'all think? Again, I feel like I already know some of the changes y'all are probably going to say, but anyway, let me know if I should change some players, who I should think about bringing in. Is there somebody that's just a great value that I don't know if I'm ignoring, but I just haven't been able to see? Should I bring in Tony for Brentford? He does seem like how much goals did he score last season? He was absolutely balling last season. So I bring him in at 6.5. Is there another midfielder missing? Who am I missing? Who are you guys bringing in? Are y'all pumped? But anyway, that's my first video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's other videos that I should make, whether it's top forwards, top midfielders, and I'll make it in about a week or so when finals are done. Anyway, I missed y'all. Hope everybody's doing well. Take some time every day to make someone smile. And Don out, baby.